on a Zoom with me is one of my Instagram besties. Like, for real, we are forever in each other's DMs, skinnering and gossiping and spilling all of the tea about everyone. It is Sloani. If you don't know him, you will know his music. Sloani, welcome to my Zoom in Brackpan.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we may not know you, but we have definitely heard your music because you have worked with everyone in the industry at this point. Like everyone, dude. Every time I see a story of yours, it's another artist and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like that song. Oh my gosh, but I like that song also. Okay, so quickly list off like, who have you worked with that we would know?
So I think the biggest one's Connell Cruz and then Hanku. Actually, I shouldn't have said like there's an order. There's no order. Connell Cruz, Hanku, Zena, Monty Bear. I've remixed something for the Giftness, but I don't think that counts.
I think that counts.
But it was like, okay, yeah, then the Giftness.
Okay, how does a dude from Cape Town end up working with all of these big names? Tell me your backstory. How did you get into music? Did you go study it? Like, how did you become this prolific producer?
So I tried studying it. It was like a bridging course. So I first started in high school where we didn't have music as a subject. So these independent teachers came to our school to teach us like a kind of non-profit organization. And then I was like, okay, I want lessons. And then I did some grades through UNISA and started learning piano. So I actually did grades in piano. Everything else, all the other instruments that people claim I play, I just have it. I own it. I don't play it. I try and play it. But then eventually I went to Stellenbosch and did a bridging course. And the second year of the bridging course, they told me, okay, cool. Now that you want to do your degree, you first have to go rewrite math. And then I got upset and said, what was the point of the bridging course? And then I just started working for call centers and stuff. And eventually, like doing freelancing, I used the money from the call centers to like buy myself equipment. And eventually David Gresham, the record label, they were like, hey, can you produce for us? And I was like, yes, please. And they were like working on a freelance basis. And eventually they were like, why don't you move over to Joburg? And I packed my stuff, the 3 things I owned, and I was like, okay, Joburg down.
Okay, but wait, there's a whole story in between courses and getting told you have to study maths and David Gresham, because there must have been a hustle in there somewhere, because David Gresham just doesn't like go, oh my gosh, hang on, wait, Sloani is the producer we need. How did you get in the door even?
So the first thing that happened was myself, a friend, a producer called Omar Moto and Cesare Stein. The 3 of us were working on a song, and it was funny because like I did very little on the song. I pretty much sliced the song and rearranged structure-wise, but the production was not me. The music was not me. So like Cesare sent that song to the label being like, hey, sign us. And then like they called us, we had a meeting, and they were like, yeah, you want to do publishing with us? I was like, yes, please. And then that's how the relationship started with the label. So it was with a song that I didn't even produce myself.
Wow. Okay, so what does it mean to be a producer for someone like David Gresham? Because we've spoken to a lot of artists, and artists generally write. So like writers, we've got covered, artists, we've got covered. But what does a producer for a record label do?
So the lines have been pretty blurred as of late because it really just means to make the music come to life, because they say there's different parts of it with arranging, mixing, mastering, and I just tend to do everything. If there's no one that's going to take a specific aspect, I even play the guitars in, I put the piano in and everything, and then I sometimes get involved in the writing. So I think nowadays a producer is just one extra collaborator that ends up exporting with the last hand on the music before it goes out.
Export, no, you do a little bit more than that. You do more than that. Okay, but like, so obviously being in this industry, you've gotten to work with some lacquer people, and I know that you've done a song because it was one of our hot hits. But what happened to the Sony career of the music of that, like the music career? Because now you're here, you're producing, you're working with this great company, but like surely there's a little bit of you that still wants to do it for yourself.
Yeah, so I've come to terms with the fact that my biggest hit won't be something that I'm singing on. It'll probably be something I've collaborated with or something. Oh, I mean, it's not a sad thing. It's just that, like, with my own music, I don't push for anything. I don't push to be the top of the charts or anything. I just, like, wherever I'm at the moment when I write something, I'm like, wow, that was a nice sentiment. And then I put it together and I finish it in my spare time. And I think that's maybe the problem, is that whenever an artist comes to me and says, I want to work with you, and then I prioritize them, I just throw myself in the backseat for the time being, which is why it takes a year for me to release a song, but that'll change now, I guess.
I hope so, because we really, really liked your last one. Okay, so you work with these artists, and I feel like you, for me, I mean, we've definitely spoken about this. I feel like you and I have a very similar music taste, and you have a good ear for the things that I like. It's very subjective music, but for me, you have a good ear. So for someone who might be watching this, because I mean, in the pandemic, we've had a lot of bedroom producers, bedroom artists that have sprung up. You know, we've been locked down, people have downloaded Fruity Loops and cool edits, and they're making beats in their mom's basement, you know, like proper, which is where
Yeah.
music actually began years and years and years ago. And then we got all fancy, and now we've gone back. It's come full circle. What, as a producer, are you looking for with the emphasis on someone who's creating music in their bedroom and who would like to approach someone like you to work with? What are you looking for in an artist?
As of late, something I've been checking for is what they've been doing, because, like, sometimes you see talent and then you see that this person is lazy, and I've just been looking for, like, how much effort they've been putting in and how consistent they've been. And then that's the first step. And then with regards to the music, I just like an honest sentiment, like, and a defined sound. Like, I need someone to actually have a sound of their own. Because there's a lot of people in this industry who are just capable of doing everything, and they end up doing everything. And it's like, but who are you? Like, are you just showing a showcase of your abilities rather than, like, conveying an emotion? And that's what I prefer. Is I want a real sentiment, a real emotion, and yeah, a good work ethic.
Okay, so say now I'm a great lyricist, right? And I can write a beautiful song, like a deep song, like the best song you've ever read in your life. But I cannot carry a note. I can try my best, but I can't carry a note. Can you help me? Can you save this?
So I
Oh,
would still suggest learning to sing, like, even if it's basic. So every little bit of thing that you learn within music will help your writing, because once you write a song down without knowing how to sing, you restrict yourself immediately, because now you're not using melody to convey the message. You're using words and words alone. So I would say the first step is, like, get those YouTube, because I mean, I've even learned to sing. I didn't start off as a singer.
wow.
Like,
Okay.
maybe I should find some old voice notes where I was, like, trying to do little covers and things. But yeah, it changes the way you convey a message. And I think that the first step, if you can't sing at the moment, is to sit with a singer that understands, like, what you were saying, that also has, like, a kind of poetry approach to music. And then they can kind of, like, because they would need to trim certain things to make sense with a certain melody. But you need someone who is a melody person, because in a writing room, you have a bunch of writers, but they all take care of different aspects. One is the concept person, one is the melody person, one is the person just coming up with chords. So since you're the lyricist, and, like, a strong lyricist in isolation, you need a melody person that can match you.
Okay. So I just want to go back to learn to sing, because I've seen a lot of YouTube tutorials. Okay. I've seen a lot of them where they're like, you can learn to sing in 21 days. You can learn to sing in time for your wedding. And I look at all of this and I'm like, no, this is, you cannot learn to sing. You don't learn Adele in like 21 days. You can't learn to be Beyonce. And you're standing here and you're like a seasoned veteran and you're like, yeah, you can learn to sing. Can you learn to sing?
So it's, some people are gonna always sound bad no matter how much practicing they do. But no, wait, I want to see this because now I don't believe you. There's no way you're not a good singer. Like the first thing is tone. Tone you're unfortunately born with, and if that's not good, then you can get it firmer, but you can't change your voice. But once you practice and actually do the scales and everything, you'll be able to see whether or not you have a good tone because you can't hear it right now. So it's just a matter of singing out the scale, making sure you're singing from the right place. Some people can hear off singing, like you have an ear for pitch. That's the first step. Can you hear if someone's singing badly?
No.
And that's not rhetorical, I'm asking. So you can't. I was like,
I mean, I don't know. I know that there is singing that I don't like, and I play piano, so obviously I know my scales, but I've never sang them, Sloani. I've never gone like do ra mi or what? Yeah, is that what you mean? La la la
do
la
re mi.
la la la. Is that what you're talking about? Like learning scales like that?
Exactly, yeah. Just basically hearing a pitch and then being able to sing that pitch. So
Yeah, no.
the problem is that the reason I asked about you being able to hear someone singing is because if you can't hear that someone's singing the wrong pitch, you won't be able to correct yourself. So that's something I've experienced in the past is like people, they can't hear that they're singing wrong. So they like, you don't have to teach them because it's like, if you don't, like, how do you correct yourself? So
Okay.
yeah, maybe there is something to work from. I think maybe just being humble.
I think you're just being nice. But listen, there is actually, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but if you aren't, you should be. And you should be following Charlie Puth on TikTok because he does a lot of exactly what you're talking about, where he teaches us about notes in just general life. So like someone will stub their toe and they'll like shriek out, and he'll actually go to one of his songs where he's used that same note in the song and teach you how to get there or like what it was. And I find that really
That's
interesting. It's very, very cool. You should check it out. Have you, and you opened this door, remember, have you worked with someone that when they sang, you were like, this is going to be hard? Please be honest. You don't have to tell me who.
What if I want to tell you?
Oh my
No,
gosh,
joke.
please tell me who.
No, I think the thing was that like I started recording vocals in high school already with a little SingStar mic. So like I have always worked with people learning to sing. Like you can be a horrible singer and like I want to work with you because I didn't have an option. Like I only had bad singers to work with. And then like I would find ways to make them sound good. And then that's when I heard about like manual pitching. So you have autotune, which automatically checks where you are. And then you have something called
yes.
Paris Hilton, exactly.
Sorry, Paris.
So now what you're able to do is it actually checks the pitch that you're singing, and then you can move those notes around and specifically choose a note and a melody for someone. And after that happened, then I never felt that I would have to work with a singer who can pitch again. So I've never been that worried, but I have gotten lazy working with such amazing singers now that like now I'm not quite as willing to turn someone into a singer. And I feel like a kind of moral side to it too, where there's a lot of people working hard to give a good vocal. So like I want someone to work. I want someone to like be improving themselves. And if you are a bad singer, I want to know that you are learning, you are actively getting better. So that's my response to that. But I'm not gonna say a name of anyone.
Okay, I was just gonna say, what if I was the learning singer? Like, could I like apply it to the Sloani School of Singing?
Well, yeah, like I'm always keen to teach people, but people that are willing to learn and put in the time.
Yeah, you
The
see.
thing is like the reason I think you are capable is because you can hear in someone's speaking voice, and like even with the music you've done with like the poetry, the spoken word, that's voice control, like it's breathing, it's everything that a singer does just without definite pitch. So like I think you can do it.
I think you're too nice. I think that's your problem. I think you're too nice. I think that we've figured it. Welcome to therapy. I'll send you my bill in the post, but I think you're too nice. Okay, so you've worked with, and I use this as a reference for the young stars, the music stars of today. Like they're young Hollywood, Zena, Armand, Connell Cruz, like all of these, like they're not yet the Policicars or the French Van Cokes or the Joe Blacks, but
Yeah.
they're getting there. You've seen them from the beginning, pretty much. Armand especially, and you've seen
Yeah.
how he's grown in the industry. For someone who's watching this, who wants to be in the industry and they have this like idea of what it's going to be like, can you tell us truthfully, what is it like to be an Armand or a Zena or a Connell? Because we look at it, we're like, oh my gosh, living the best life, like going to studios, doing great
Yeah.
songs, winning awards. But you and I know that it's not like that. So what is it like from your perspective?
So I think that one thing that's scary is that the fame and the exposure comes before the money. Which
Yeah.
so like you can be perceived as someone doing well, but still earning like much less than your fans, which sucks. And it's also there's just no stability in your life. There's everything is a maybe. Every like check that you get, even if you do a gig that you are sure you're getting paid for, you've been told you're going to get paid for, you show up and then this is some weird little way that they're going to handle that. So I think and I'm saying this as someone who's successfully pursued their dream and I'm happy. I am okay with making less than like if I were to do a job that would kill me.
Okay.
And that's the real thing, is that are you able to love? Yes. Okay. Are you willing to juggle those things? Then it's fine. But if music is something that helps calm you, like making music, maybe it's a little like way to just get your stress levels down, then understand that adding the monetary aspect to it is going to ruin that for you. Like even for myself, like sometimes I listen with a business mind and I can't quite enjoy things anymore as much as I used to. So it's a good side and a bad side, but now like every day I do have a little moment where it's like, wow, it's actually real. Like I'm sitting clicking on the Fruity Loop and getting paid for it. So
Valid. Okay. But okay. So like there are so many producers at the moment, and no disrespect to anyone, but it's a very small market in this country. And you are not going to end up being Dre or whoever you look up to. Sorry, I always go back to the hip hop guys. But for yourself who is doing something that you love, and who is doing pretty well at it, would you recommend that these kids go study something, or can you move from in 2022 bedroom producing to producing for a David Gresham?
So I hate to be this person, but it depends.
Yeah.
Like everyone has a different trajectory, and like I think that so I personally haven't studied anything in music production. The bridging course I did was for music, so like the theory and everything behind it. And with production, everything was just clicking and seeing what happens, and then eventually YouTube was like more accessible in the country, and I would watch tutorials, and it's so easily accessible that if you are willing to put in the time, then you can get everything you need from that. And I think a lot of people who end up studying it is because they think it's the right thing to do. And for certain aspects of music, like if you want to go maybe into film or like just something a bit more practical, you do need that behind you because you'll get jobs easier. But in terms of just being able to make great music, you don't need to study, honestly. Like if that price that they throw, like a little invoice they send you, gives you a fright, that's okay. Don't do it.
Okay, what are you busy working on at the moment? Give us things.
I am working on remixes. So like there's going to be one new song this year from me, and then the rest are going to be remixes and acoustic versions. So okay. That's what I'm working on.
When are we getting the new song from you? No pressure, but when?
I don't know. It all depends on. I first need to get my internet sorted. This isn't even my place. I went to my friend's house. So I'm still sorting out my life. And then that's not my art.
I was going to say, oh my gosh, you're such a talented artist. Or do you have children was my next question. Okay, so you're in Joburg, you are producing. Can people ask you for help? Can people ask you for advice, or are you signed only for David Gresham?
So I am with David Gresham, but like I'm open, like anyone can approach me. My DMs are not that active. In fact, it's a bit lonely. So if anyone wants to come and keep me company. But yeah, no, I'm always.
You're gonna regret this. You're gonna regret this so badly, and I'm so excited for you. You heard it first. Here's his Instagram handle. Go DM. But don't be surprised with what you get back, because this man is not only musically gifted and talented, he's also like one of those like high EQIQ people who's gonna reply with some kind of meme that you're gonna have no idea where it comes from, and it's probably gonna be like a Seinfeld meme or like a weird like 80s reference that you don't understand, because he's like 20, if that, you know? So I'm just warning you. You got to come with EQ, IQ, like general knowledge on point, and music knowledge, obviously. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is because I know that you recently, and I don't know if it's released yet, so I'm not going to say it, but you were working with one of your artists on a rock song or a remix of a song into like a more rocky vibe.
Yeah.
Is it released?
So that was the Armand Hubert one with Better For Me. We did a rock version.
Yes.
That is released.
Okay, so go and stream that and go make that TikTok dances. But what I wanted to ask you about this is you move so easily in between the genres. Do you have a specific one that's your favorite, and which is your least favorite?
So genre-wise, that's difficult. Okay. I'm often in a rock mood, but the thing is I end up producing it very like rarely. So I don't think it's fair to say that's my favorite, but I grew up listening to a lot of rock and things like that. So I really enjoy getting to produce it, but it's not that common. And then least favorite? Oh, no, I can't say that, because then there's going to be people that I've produced for that, and then they're going to feel like I'm not.
Fine.
But I think
be politically correct.
Anything where the artist asks me to produce something that doesn't make sense because like they saw it on TV, they saw someone being popular for making a certain style, and then they just say, oh, I want to sound like that person. That's really what would make me feel like uninspired. But I can feel inspired if the artist is inspired with any genre.
Oh my gosh. You're very energy driven. I can already see working with you. You're going to get in someone's head and you're going to know exactly what's going to work and what's not going to work, and how to, I want to use manipulate, but that's not the right word, but you know what word I'm looking for. Kind of like coax them into what you need them to do by being, I know exactly. I see you. Okay. So one new song, lots of remixes. Where can we follow you? Where are those DMs that you're going to regret sharing?
I think just Instagram. People shouldn't go to my Facebook, but like I'm always on Instagram, so I'm just gonna say that handle if that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's at Hello Sloani, SLOANI, and yeah, if you go to me anywhere else, you're gonna see like tumbleweed. So.
But Instagram, you do ghost us every now and then. I have noticed that you like take a young sabbatical and then you come back.
Maybe it's because I don't have internet.
Oh, sorry, load shedding and stuff. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I take my mean-heartedness back. I just really like you on Instagram. Sloani, one last question. Will you please promise me that you'll send us the song for a Jack a Hot Hit when it's ready?
Definitely.
And sooner rather than later. Like no pressure, but sooner rather than later.
Okay, deal.
Pinky promise. Sloani, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to everything that you give us. I'm pretty sure half of our playlist at this point is yours. So thank you. And we look forward to more from you.
Thank you for having me, Tanya. This is so fun.
Jacaranda FM.